I'm curious, have you spoken with any of the political appointees who were recently fired or anyone who represents them?
Caitlin, I haven't, but this is a sad but very predictable situation. I think those of us on the Armed Services Committee who looked at Pete Hegseth's material, and it was voluminous before his hearing and the vote on his confirmation, two things were plain. When he was in the uniform of the United States, he served admirably, but in his leadership positions in many organizations since his uniform service, he's demonstrated appalling lack of judgment, both professionally and personally. And that's why many of us, including Republicans, voted against him to be Secretary of Defense. And what's happened in the last, few weeks about these two Signalgate atrocities just shows the lack of judgment and that he is the wrong person to be our Secretary of Defense.
For those members of his inner circle that have been ousted, do you want to speak to them?
I would very much appreciate speaking to them, but we saw the same thing in the committee hearing. Numerous individuals had come forward and alleged very serious substantive claims against Pete Hegseth that he could not rebut. And he just said, oh, those are, anonymous smears, even though they were dozens of people with names attached who had made serious allegations against him. And so now he's claiming that those that he hired to be his inner circle in the Pentagon are disgruntled. I think these are gruntled people who are patriots, and they're very worried about Pete Hegseth continuing to lead this most important cabinet secretariat.
We heard from the only Republican so far who has come out and been this strong in their reaction, and that is Congressman Don Bacon of Nebraska, saying that he believes this warrants Pete Hegseth's firing. Do you agree with him?
Yes, absolutely. And you'll notice that even Republicans who voted to confirm Pete Hegseth, like my Armed Services Chair, Roger Wicker, they have come out almost immediately and criticized him for, idiotic comments about Ukraine and other things that he's done, the first Signalgate challenge and now this one. This guy is just racking up one gaffe after another. Gaffe is a diplomatic term, but these things were completely apparent to anyone who had looked at his record as the leader of organizations after he got out of uniform service.
Is there any part of you that thinks, just given how the president has responded to uproar, backlash over some of his picks, standing by them, is there any part of you that thinks if a Democratic senator says that he should be fired over this, that maybe it makes Trump less likely to fire him?
It's possible, but I don't have the luxury of gaming out the president's mindset. I've just got to do what's best for the country. I almost feel like some of the president's nominees, Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, he nominated people who he pushed out there to see how much he could get Republican senators to swallow, in the sense of, if I can get him to vote yes on this, I'll own him for the next 4 years. But I'm starting to see there were 3 Republican votes against Pete Hegseth. We saw Republican votes against President Trump's idiotic Canadian tariff imposition a couple weeks back. You're starting to see Republican senators say, hold on a second, you think we'll follow you like lemmings over the cliff? We're not going to do it.
We'll see, because, one thing that I was thinking about today is there were a lot of questions for your Republican colleagues after the first Signal chat story and a reporter being inadvertently added. We heard some, like Senator Lindsey Graham, say it fell into the category of lessons learned. This is what else they said.
Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, he'll get it corrected. And, that's just part of transition and growing.
A mistake was made, and they'll fix it and learn from it.
They'll figure it out, and they'll improve the process.
Do you believe that that has happened here, Senator?
No, if you look at Pete Hegseth's record before he became Secretary of Defense, it was one glaring professional and personal mistake after another. And, there's no magic wand that waves over you once you get a narrow Senate confirmation vote that turns you into a wise person. This is a guy, again, I will say, when in uniform, he served admirably, but his leadership positions post-uniform service have been unmitigated disasters, one after the next after the next. And that's clearly why he's gaining so much attention, more than any other cabinet secretary in the first 90 days of the Trump administration, because of his glaring mistakes of judgment.
Senator, before I let you go, this isn't related, but I do have to ask, the other major story today is the death of Pope Francis, who I know you met with back in 2017. And I just wonder, as a Catholic, how you're feeling today.
It's a very emotional day. I woke up to the news and I was incredibly saddened, but I also thought about the way that Pope Francis lived his entire life, but especially his last few days, visiting prisoners and washing their feet on Holy Thursday. That's what you do on Holy Thursday. Jesus washed the feet of his disciples to show that leaders should be servants. Being out on the St. Peter's Square yesterday, inspiring people, giving a powerful last sermon, saying that humankind, we're not made for death, we're made for life. If you could design your own passing, you could hardly have designed it better. His message of compassion and also the need for leaders to be humble, humility, were really transformative in my church.
Senator Tim Kaine, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Caitlin.
My White House insiders are also here. And Shelby, as we've been listening to the White House defending Pete Hegseth today,